Our guest speaker tonight, I called, 8 or 9 months back and asked him to participate. He accepted immediately on the phone. I said, "Are you sure you don't need to check with your wife or your schedule or something?" And he said, "No, I'm too excited. I'm going to make this happen." I called Michael Wu because he is a remarkable person. He graduated Blackburn and did his own baccalaureate service in 1977. He went on to Yale University, where he received a divinity degree. And then, being a real liberal arts kind of a student, he decided one graduate degree was not enough and one field was not enough. He went on to get a law degree in 1983. He has since been a leader at the local and state levels of the American Baptist Church, and while practicing law has been his primary career, he's focused on working with nonprofits who serve those who struggle to afford access to justice. He's had a remarkable career in life, and Mike has always given Blackburn credit for his start. He met his wife here, Tricia, who's with us, who was a member of the class of 1978. Mike's life took an unexpected turn just about a week ago when he was confirmed as a judge of the State Superior Court of Connecticut. That's great for him, but not so great for us, because he called me and said there is now required judge training, and he has to be there as a new judge. He was heartbroken about it. I can testify to that. He will actually be here for graduation tomorrow, just so we can participate. We do have the next best thing, however. His daughter, Michelle, is with us. And if you think about it, that's even better because she is the product of 2 Blackburn grads. This is what you get. It's very impressive. Michelle works at Illinois Wesleyan University as Director of Conference Services, is a leader in her church, and her father said she would do a better job delivering his word than he ever could. So we thank Michelle for filling in today. Thank you, Michelle.
Good evening. President Comerford, Reverend Biddle, faculty, administrators, distinguished guests, and of course, members of the class of 2018. Thank you so much for this opportunity tonight to speak to you. I am so honored to join you and be part of this celebration. I know my father greatly wishes he could be here to deliver this message in person. My father has always felt a strong connection to Blackburn, and I can recall throughout my childhood, my father and my mother talking about their experiences at Blackburn and the profound impact their years here had on them. Since graduating from Blackburn, my dad's life has gone in many directions, some more exciting than others, but always a new experience with new understanding. Blackburn, in many ways, was the launching point for these adventures. I am, quite obviously, not my father, so my reading will sound a little different than were in his voice. However, I hope as I read, I convey his message with the same passion with which he wrote it, and that as you listen, you will hear his deep appreciation for Blackburn and the incredible journey from which his time here led. So in my father's words, I apologize for not being able to share this message with you personally, but at this very moment, I should be on an airplane headed to St. Louis, and I look forward to being with you all at commencement tomorrow morning. It was many years ago that I myself was sitting in Clegg Chapel attending the baccalaureate service on the day before I received my bachelor's degree from Blackburn. At the time, I was not fully aware of how important my academic experience, as well as my work experience at Blackburn, would be to my professional life. In all honesty, at that time, I had no idea what lay ahead in my future. I was feeling overwhelmed and intimidated by what may lie ahead of me in my life. From my current vantage point, I can assure you all that you are better prepared for the future than you realize. And no matter how uncertain the future may appear to be, I am confident that each of you will have many opportunities to positively impact the lives of others and to contribute to making our world a better place. While Blackburn provided me with a multitude of tools for my future, the faculty, staff, and fellow students provided me with a somewhat intangible gift that was more important than any academic, research, or work skill that I learned here. I was a transfer student, so I didn't spend nearly as much time in Carlinville as other members of my graduating class. But while here, I learned how to live and work together as a community, even though each of us was different from the rest. That leads me to the selected scripture for this evening. As you listen to those words from Paul's first letter to the relatively new Christian church in Corinth, you may have wondered why we were sharing that scripture passage at a baccalaureate service. Those words are most often used at wedding ceremonies. While this is a joyous time, graduating from college is not the same as celebrating a marriage. However, the love that Paul describes is not founded upon romance. The passage was not written exclusively for those embarking on a new familial relationship. Rather, Paul describes a particular kind of love as being the foundation of successful relationships with others and the foundation for being effective and successful in whatever we do throughout our lives. Using what might be slightly dated computer terminology, our Blackburn academic and work experiences provide us with the equivalent of Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. Our experience of being part of the Blackburn community provided us with the operating system or platform upon which the other software functions. And that OS is love. That operating platform is so important because the only certainty in our futures is change. We may plan out our futures, but what ultimately unfolds is rarely what we plan. If I were to have predicted on the day of my graduation from Blackburn what I would do over the next 35 years of my professional life, all my predictions would have been wrong. While earning my Master of Divinity, I had no intention of pastoring local churches. Yet I have pastored local congregations for over 35 years. While in law school, I planned on using the legal skills to help churches and other nonprofit organizations develop affordable housing. Upon receiving a law degree, I was a litigator defending product liability cases for automakers. Short time later, I moved to the corporate sector, doing everything from negotiating and drafting the contract for the toilets on the space shuttle, to traveling around the world to train employees in ethics. Then I entered public service, working for legal services. Most recently, I was appointed a judge. There wasn't even an iota of affordable housing in my legal career. Even though my career never went anywhere I'd planned, I have found that to be successful in whatever I was doing, my efforts and my actions had to be grounded in the kind of love described by Paul. Wherever we find ourselves, no matter what our position or role, we are called to be patient, humble, always focused on the needs of others, willing to forgive, and willing to accept everyone's humanity. If we do that, we will find success in whatever we do. I had the opportunity to witness someone else live in the love Paul described back in the 1990s. It was then I saw firsthand how love could multiply the benefits of one's efforts. I was in India for business reasons. It was a stressful time as I was there to lead a crash investigation team that was assisting the local government to determine the cause of an aviation disaster. While in Calcutta, after a long day of tough meetings, I jokingly said to a work companion, "Let's go see Mother Teresa." We climbed into a cab, thinking there was no way that we'd actually be able to see her. The driver took us through the city, where we witnessed people living in conditions that cannot be described. Traffic was chaotic, with horns blaring, and no one really heeding traffic signals or signs. He dropped us off at the opening to a narrow alley, and he told us to just walk down the alley. As we entered it, we thought we had entered a different world. No one was asking us for money, there were no crowds, and the noise of the city seemed hushed. At the end of the alley was a wood door and a rope connected to a bell. We pulled the rope, the bell rang, and the door just opened. No one was there, so we walked into the building. It quickly became apparent that we were in a dormitory-style bedroom. A nun greeted us and informed me that we were walking through their bedroom. I told her honestly we were there to see Mother Teresa, and she told us to climb the stairs to the second floor. As we came to the top of the stairs, we realized that there was a short line of people ahead of us to see Mother Teresa. We heard the first person in line tell her that he did not have enough money to buy milk for his children. Mother Teresa disappeared behind a doorway, came out with a small box of coins, and poured the coins into the hands of the man. She blessed him and sent him on his way. The person ahead of us explained to her that his children did not have any paper for school. She disappeared again behind the doorway, came out with a half a ream of paper, and gave it to that man. She blessed him and sent him on his way. As he left, she looked at us and said, "Let me guess, you're not from around here." We sat on an old wooden bench, and Mother Teresa, in excellent English, asked each of us about our backgrounds, reasons for being in India, and the reason for our visit. To visit one of the orphanages her order operated, she told me to go, and just to tell whoever I met there that she said it was okay for me to visit. We never imagined that a winner of a Nobel Prize could be so down to earth, so welcoming, and so humble. She was far from a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. She was totally focused on the needs of others including ours. We returned to our hotel and then decided to go back to make a donation. Awestruck by her loving way and all the good her organization was doing, I wrote a check for what I had left in my checking account, about $500, an inconsequential sum for an organization that did as much outreach and mission work as hers. But when I gave the check to her, she looked at it, began to cry, and kissed my hand and thanked me profusely for supporting their work. Returning, I asked the driver of my taxi about the perceptions that the locals had of Mother Teresa. He explained that in India, no one trusts anyone else. Mother Teresa, he said, was the exception. Everyone, from the wealthiest to the poorest people in the country, respected her. Why? Because she was patient, kind, and humble. No matter who you were, she respected you. She lived only to serve others and never was self-centered or wanting anything for herself. It then struck me that Mother Teresa lived her life according to Paul's exhortations. Her embracing and living the love Paul described was the foundation of her ministries, and it enabled her to positively impact the lives of millions of people around the world. So, no matter where you find yourself in the future, whether or not things work out as you planned, remember that we're all called to live the love that Paul describes in 1 Corinthians 13. My personal experience has been that it doesn't matter what I do. What matters is how I do it. If the efforts are made in line with Paul's recommendations, our efforts will be successful, and we will collectively make this world a better place for everyone. Congratulations and God's blessings to all the members of the class of 2018 as you embark on a new and exciting chapter of your lives.